Excellent. So, guys, it's Galentine's Day. Happy Galentine's Day.
Yes, happy Galentine's Day.
Happy Galentine's Day.
So we are doing a special episode because it's Galentine's Day. And we have a special guest with us. Joining us is our friend Chinlin from the Bingleables Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Sunni and Brandi. I appreciate it. I love listening to you guys. And this is my first time being on here, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, we are happy that you're here. We've collabed with Chinlin a few times on the Bingleables Podcast, and we love her. Check out our episode, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Did I say it right?
Yep.
Yes. So let's just talk about our weeks really quick, and then we'll get into what we're going to talk about today. So, Brandi, you can go first. How was your week?
My week was fine. Yesterday was my child's birthday, so
yes.
we, had a little birthday cake, ice cream cake, and we sang happy birthday, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, that's cool.
How about you, Chinlin? How was your week?
Not terrible. Yesterday was the Lunar New Year, and I was able to do a video call with my family, so like my parents and my older sisters, and that was nice because we don't normally do that kind of thing, so it was just kind of refreshing to do something different for like 20 minutes that wasn't watching TV or playing video games.
Right? I've watched so much TV with this damn COVID thing. Like, I've definitely consumed a lot of content, and I'm not mad about it, but you're right. It's good to do other things.
Yeah, exactly.
And how was your week, Sunni?
Oh, thank you. Thanks for asking. So how was my week was really busy. So I had a really productive week at work. I got to perform a demo, and I'd been stalking this client for like 6 months. And finally,
holy shit, that's commitment.
Finally,
because I'd be like, screw that dude.
I slid in his DM in LinkedIn, and he opened up conversation with me. So he took my demo. So I was really happy about that. Beauty's Biscuits is doing well. So I've felt really productive this week. I felt like business went really good this week. And I'm really happy that we're here today with each other to chat.
That's cool.
Yay. And if you guys did not know, I'm Sunni Hepburn.
And I am Brandi Flakes.
And today we also have
Chinlin from the Bingleables Podcast.
Yes.
But today, this is
Book of Lies.
If you aren't already, go ahead and connect with us on social. You can meet us on Twitter at Book of Lies Pod, on Instagram and Facebook at Book of Lies Podcast. You can visit our website, bookofliespodcast.com, where you could listen to all of our previous episodes. You can learn a little more about us. All of our collaborations are there on our collaborations page. There you can find Chinlin. She'll give us some of her information, how you could reach her as well if you want. And connect with us on Patreon if you aren't already. We're a little lonely, so come join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Book of Lies Podcast. And we've got a lot of content there, some special Patreon episodes only. And yeah, this is it. We're halfway through February already. What's been going on? I can't believe it already. That's insane. Today, we have brought you guys a special episode. So, Chinlin, what are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about the case with Rodney Hailey and his fake business, Clean Green Fuel.
It is called Clean Green Fuel. And we get this special episode from our friends over there at American Greed.
Be our friends.
We are friends, right? I saw that they have like a Twitter, like live Twitter. You can watch our videos on Twitter and stuff. So that's insane. And while I was like doing research for this episode, I found this other show on Amazon. It's called Swindlers or Swindling or something to that effect. And I was like, oh my God, a whole new pool of content I have not tapped into yet. So 2021, y'all better get ready, okay? All right, so we're going to attack this all together. So like Chinlin said, we are going to discuss the case of Rodney Hailey. He's the CEO or was the CEO of Clean Green Fuel. Yes? Was, because he's a fucking fraud. Let's just put it out there. He's a liar. He's a fraud. He's a thief.
He's a major thief. That was ridiculous.
Yes, it was. So let's see how we're going to get into this. Does anybody want to go first, or you want me to jump in?
I thought it was funny that the only reason he got caught was because he pissed off one of his neighbors.
Yes. He pissed off all of his neighbors. He pissed off the neighborhood. They was mad.
That one lady, like with her daughter, I can't remember exactly what happened in the American Greed episode, but that one lady, she helped.
She did. No, he had like 26 vehicles parked in front of his home, a residential area in Baltimore.
They weren't just vehicles. They were luxury vehicles. They were high-ticket vehicles, and the bus driver was afraid to drive down the street because he didn't want to hit or bump or scratch one. And so the mom who had to walk her kid to the bus stop was pissed.
Mm-hmm. She was like, oh, hell no, I don't got to get up out of my car and walk my child to the bus stop. I used to be able to drive down these streets. Now this fool got all these cars up in here. What is he doing to the neighborhood? Oh, hell no, I'm calling the police. I'm sure he's up to something. That would have been me. I would have been hot too. So this guy, we don't know very much about his background, but we know he has a background in fraud. So he started this business, Clean Green Fuel, in March of 2009, I believe. And he started this behind the Clean Air Act that President Bush passed, I believe.
In 2005.
He actually wanted to get off of fossil fuel, wanted to stop exporting or importing, fuel from out of the country.
Yeah, the goal was to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels.
Yes. What Brandi said. Continue.
So the act basically, it allowed for oil companies to either manufacture their own green energy fuels like biodiesel and ethanol, or they could buy renewable identification numbers from companies that were producing these biodiesels and ethanol. So like farmers with who were producing corn could sell their corn to make ethanol. They could sell the ethanol to the oil companies, and the companies also could collect oil from like restaurants, like, their dirty cooking oil, soybean oil, other types of oils. And that's how these renewable energies are produced. That's how biodiesel is produced, by using old ass cooking oil, which is also, it's very good for the environment because that oil now has a place to go that's productive and it's not being just dumped somewhere, possibly contaminating, the ground. And it's also helping the economy.
I remember back in the day, like in 2008, when biodiesel was a thing, when everybody was talking about biodiesel, and I was like, oh shit, biodiesel. And people were putting cooking oil in their cars, effing their cars up because they can't do that. But I remember biodiesel and thinking, ooh, I want to get on with biodiesel because I'm super eco-conscientious. We got to get off the fossil fuel. We got to get away from gas, hybrid cars, electric cars. Here we are now in 2021. But back in the day, there weren't a lot of companies, fuel companies or oil companies that were producing what they needed to. So they were buying RINs, which is a renewable identification number. They were able to purchase that from companies who are actually producing the biodiesel or that type of fuel. And in walks this motherfucker, Rodney Hailey. And I don't know how he learned it or where he learned it from, but he figured out very quickly that he could register his business with the EPA to be like a reliable vendor to produce or to offer biodiesel. But he found out that the EPA did not investigate or do any due diligence whatsoever.
No inspection, nothing.
Nothing. So he's like, okay, so they're not coming, so I guess I'm good. And then and his name was on this list, so companies were actually reaching out to him too.
Right, they were reaching out to him to buy his RINs.
Mm-hmm.
And what did they say? They were traded at as much as 50 cents.
I thought it was like 25 cents to the dollar or something.
They were super cheap, but they would sell them. He would sell them in bulk, and that was how he was getting his cash.
He sold 170,000 to one company at 12 cents an RIN and made $125,000 off of that.
Well, honestly, if I had that ingenuity and I was a criminal, I would invest my money in better things than fucking luxury vehicles. Because they said the second he got a check, it cleared, he was off buying a car. He bought like 2 Bentleys with a check. Like, who does that?
Yeah, he bought a bunch of cars. And the thing is, those cars are not energy efficient cars at all. Those cars, he said, what did they say? He bought a Murcielago. He bought a Lamborghini Murcielago that got 8 miles to the gallon. What the flip?
Someone should slap him upside his head, honestly. But he's in a residential home that has like parking for 2 cars. Like, you're making all this money. Go somewhere else.
He was stupid. He bought 26 cars.
And
like, he obviously didn't have anywhere to put them, so it was just a matter of time before he got caught, and he just wasn't thinking.
Well, they said that's how he got caught, because he was dumb and he was greedy.
Yeah, and my question is this. He bought the house for cash, right? Why do you need to have a house in a neighborhood? Like, for that amount of money that he was making and spending, he could have bought a house out in the country where he could have parked his cars wherever he wanted. He could have had a road built. He could have had a garage built to house all of these cars. But instead, he's a dumbass and moves into a neighborhood where people have children who need to get around. That's ridiculous.
Well, I'm telling you, he's like a very low-level criminal. He wasn't very smart, because they got phone recordings on tape and stuff. And they were like, oh, what's your background in? And he was like, oh, yeah, I used to work for GE. I used to work for this gas company. I used to work for this, that, and the other, which was lies, because they said right before he started the company, he had gone to jail behind stealing gas from a gas station or something. And then he was on unemployment.
He was collecting unemployment benefits, yes.
Fucking idiot. Like, you're making millions of dollars. They said, like, he made, like up to, like, $9 million, and you're collecting unemployment. That makes no sense.
That's unemployment fraud, so that's another charge.
Well, he didn't get hit with that one, unfortunately. He said he had an engineering degree. He's like, yeah, I got an engineering degree, and I know this and I know that. And he was smart, though, because they were like, oh, send us a picture of your operation. What's the address? He's like, oh, I don't know the address. Honestly, I really don't. Because he didn't, because there was no
address. He was using fake addresses. He was Googling pictures. They would ask for pictures of his facility. He sent them pictures, Google pictures from other facilities. He took them to an empty warehouse that had 3 empty tanks in it that weren't even bolted down. Like, what? Dude, come on, at least be a little more sophisticated in your fraud. Like, if people are going to get suspicious, they're going to come knocking, you should at least have a dummy location set up to make it look like it's actually doing something. But no, instead you're just, and he wasn't even, okay, so with these RINs, they're actually supposed to ship out this biodiesel. They're supposed to do this.
Where's it supposed to go? Because I thought they were just buying like a credit, if you will, and he's supposed to run his own operation. And he's like, oh, I've got extra credits. Let me just sell them to people. Like, how does that even work?
So they're supposed to, with these RINs, they have, the oil companies are still supplying, they're supposed to be supplying the biodiesel or these green fuels to other locations that want to sell it, the actual product. He wasn't doing that. He was selling them fake numbers that he made up.
He was smoke. Yeah. He was like, he would work for an hour a day and put together all these numbers in an Excel spreadsheet and then sell them smoke and mirrors pretty much. And he was just living a lavish lifestyle, which I wish I wasn't an honest person. I really do. He
wasn't thinking long term, but he was at least smart enough to use Excel.
Well, he wasn't smart at all because he left a money trail. Pretty much. Like when the neighbor got mad, they called the police. They started investigating his money and where the money is coming from. That's how they figured out this fool was on unemployment, but yet he's running hundreds, $200,000 checks in from his business, and then he's turning around and spending it on a vehicle. They said it never sat in his bank account very long. He was like, I got the money. I need to go buy something.
Yeah, you know what he was doing? He was eyeballing cars. He would like go online, look up a car that he wanted, get the money that he needed to buy that car, and then go buy the car. I mean, that's pretty much how that works, because it's not like you just walk up on a lot and be like,
he was buying used cars from people.
Hey, show me the car you want. Exactly. He was going online and finding which cars he wanted. And then when he got the money, he would go buy that car. Mm-hmm. That's insane. Because again, you can't just go up on a dealership lot and be like, hey, I want that car. Because to buy a car from a dealership takes hours, even if you're paying cash.
There's a bunch of paperwork. Yeah.
I hate how they trick you. They're like, oh, yeah, so, we'll get you out in like 20 minutes. And 3 hours later, you're still there. You lied to me, you son of a bitch.
They take the car to get detailed. And, meanwhile, you're in there waiting. And some of these dealerships don't even have like coffee machines and things like that. You're just sitting there freaking twiddling your thumbs. You better take a book and a magazine or something.
It's not just about detailing the vehicle as well. It's like, whenever I've bought a vehicle, I've financed it there, so then they're sending out your information to try and get you approved for a loan. And then once it's approved for a loan, then they got to go through all the documents and the bells and the whistles and the signatures and this. You know what? I remember when I bought my Honda Fit. That was the day Paul Walker died.
Aw.
I was sitting there in the dealership with Mom, and then I was like, oh my God, Twitter. Paul Walker, no. It was very sad. It was a very sad day. So I can never get rid of my vehicle because it reminds me of Paul Walker. I'm being so dramatic.
Yeah, I think so.
But anyway, he's buying these vehicles from people. He's paying cash, and he's leaving a paper trail. And that's what they were like. He wasn't very smart. He was just like, okay, whatever. I'm going to do what I want to do. So there's a national biodiesel board and trade organization. And they're pissed at Mr. Hailey also because they're like, you guys fucked up. You fucked us. You put a bad taste in everyone's mouth about biofuel, biodiesel, and all this stuff. And he ended up going to jail behind it. But let's talk about a little bit more about the dumb shit that he did. So he starts his business. He's the CEO. He has an office. So he has employees, about 12 employees. But I wonder what they were doing in the office. Maybe calling people, maybe pushing paperwork, or just a front. I wonder what some of the employees had to say about all of this stuff afterwards.
Well, I was Googling some articles earlier, and I didn't find anything where they mentioned any of his co-employees.
And he was married, too. The wife knew.
Did she?
Your husband has 25, 23 vehicles, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Maseratis, Phantoms. He's buying you diamonds. He's freaking taking you on trips all over the world, flying privately. You got a house in Beverly Hills, and your wife don't know that you're up to some shit?
Oh, there's a house in Beverly Hills?
Yeah, he bought a house in L.A. as well.
Here's what he could have done. People are like, oh, yeah, the wife knew. I sincerely believe that some of these people keep their wives in the dark. And the way you do that is this. Honey, I'm starting this business. Now, she never has to come to the business to see what's going on. And even if she does, she comes into the office, so she doesn't know what's going on. She probably isn't smart enough or doesn't do the research to figure out that he has to have a gigantic plant in order to synthesize this biodiesel from oil. So she doesn't think about, okay, well, he has to have this whole situation set up. So she might visit him at the office every now and again, and she might think that he's actually making his money legit. He doesn't say, hey, well, you know what? I just built, a couple of $100,000 out of this company by selling them just a bunch of numbers and air, instead of saying, oh, well, today I shipped about 30,000 tons of biodiesel to such and such company A, B, or C. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy to not know anything, especially like wives who are reaping the benefits of all this money. They don't really have to be interested in what he's doing to make money.
They don't want to know. They don't want to know. But I mean, it didn't say when they got married, but what I'm saying is if your husband 2 or 3 years ago got arrested for stealing oil, why do I think that he has created this multi-million-dollar business? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. You could play dumb if you want, but I'm not buying that she didn't know what was going on.
Another scenario was maybe the wife just didn't care.
Exactly.
Maybe she was just enjoying having all this money, jewelry, the cars. He even got some private jets or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like she got to enjoy this luxury life, so she wasn't gonna ruin it for herself.
Exactly. She doesn't. Again, like the guys in the mafia. Don't ask me about my business. You know what I mean? Don't ask me about my business. I'm bringing you home all this money. I'm buying you all this stuff that you want. Don't ask me about my business. And so they don't.
So if your husband came home and was like, "Ooh, babe, we've hit the ticket."
No, I'm nosy. I want to know everything. I want to know everything, and I might even follow you and see what you're doing. But that's just how I operate.
What about you, Chinlin?
No, I'm the same way. Like, just having a bunch of cash drop my way, that's too good to be true. There's gotta be strings attached or something.
There's not just strings. There's a whole freaking fraud operation back here going on. They said he was the 3rd largest trader of biodiesel in the world at that time.
Yeah.
At that time.
That's nuts, right?
And he was just throwing out numbers. Like a call was like, "Oh, how many licenses can I get?" Right? Or whatever they're called.
How many numbers? How many
RINs? RINS. They called them RINs.
Mm-hmm.
They were called RINs, exactly. They're like, "Oh, how many can I get?" He was like, "Oh, 170,000." And he's like, "Okay, well,
at 12 cents
how much you're going to
piece.
charge?" Yeah. I just think it's absurd. He was just throwing out these numbers and people were like, "Okay, sure."
These companies they're not in the, next door. They can't just walk over and see what's going on. They're on the phone. You're trusting what this guy says. So, and then they have brokers who are also, negotiating RINs for oil companies. And the brokers got suspicious and they were like, "So, how big's your facility? What's your address?" And those are the people that were asking the questions.
Right.
So,
because they were suspicious of his lies, because the address that they gave him, that he offered up as one of his locations where he was manufacturing this stuff, he actually had a place, but there was nothing in it. He had like 3 huge barrels that were empty. They weren't even bolted in. He had a fucking water hose coming into the place. And he honestly coasted by because the EPA did not do their due diligence. They didn't do anything. And they were like, "Oh, we didn't have the manpower or the capabilities to verify." But he was just able to go online and register and say that he was a business of some, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's too easy. This was too easy for this to happen.
Well, I'm going to start selling biodiesel.
I'm considering it. I really am. It's messed up, dude. So what I learned from this is always ask questions. Like, even when you know the answers and you've done your research, always ask some difficult questions. Like, "Okay, what's your address? When were you founded?"
That's not a difficult question.
But if you're a liar, it's a difficult question. Do you know what I mean? Like, I used to work on the phone a lot, and I would talk to all kinds of people on the phone, and they would ask me the address, where you guys located. Oh, here, there. How many people are there? And I was like, "You guys are really nosy, but I will give you the answers. Sure, we're here, and this is how many people. We've been in business for this long," because people are used to getting effed. They're used to getting, cheated or trying to be swindled, because it happens so much.
Yeah.
Fake biofuel, biodiesel. That upsets me. So all the neighbors were mad when he moved to the neighborhood. They were like, "Oh, we've got a new neighbor." And then all the vehicles rolled in and they were super suspicious, which makes sense. That's why you shouldn't be flaunting your wealth.
You had a neighbor that had a bunch of cars that just kept appearing in front of their house. And I was like, this is stupid how many cars are on this street. Like, that was annoying. I didn't even live there, and I was annoyed because I had to, walking the kids to school. I'm passing by all these freaking cars that are just taking up space on the street. The neighbors were actually pissed. I was just like, this is dumb. Somebody needs to complain.
Somebody needs to complain.
I mean, I'm not a resident right here, so I'm not going to do it, but somebody needs to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he would have been caught sooner if the neighborhood he lived in was actually an HOA.
Girl, if he was in an
Definitely.
HOA, his business would have been all up in the streets. They would have wanted to know everything.
Yeah, like the second that fourth car popped up, like if he has two in the garage and two in the driveway, the one that was on the street would have been, they would have been like, excuse me,
knock,
you
knock,
can't
knock,
have this
HOA.
here. What are you doing? When is it gonna leave? Like they would have been up his butt, and then having HOA meetings about him and all that shit.
Yeah.
No, you're right. But kind of like what you said, how he got caught was because he wasn't cool with the neighbors, and he was just dumb about his business. And the people that caught him, they were like, if he would have been cool with his neighbors and put a little thought behind this, he'd probably still be doing this fraud.
I don't know how much longer he would have been able to keep it up, even if he did have a better place to hide his cars.
Yeah, because the oil companies were getting onto him.
Yeah.
And the brokers were onto him.
They were onto him, but I think he could have dragged it out a little bit longer if his neighbors didn't,
And if he'd stepped up his game and become a little more sophisticated about his dirt, or actually if he started actually doing what he said he was doing and started
actually do the business
something.
and the service that you're offering.
Exactly.
Actually have a better front and an actual plant that wasn't just 3 unbolted
barrels. Barrels of fun.
The other day I went to Tom's. It was about 9:00 in the morning, and there was an oil truck siphoning the oil out. They have a big steel box in the back of the restaurant where all the dirty oil goes, and there was a truck there siphoning out the oil. And I was wondering, I was like, what? I didn't know that there was like an oil removal service, number one. And then I was like, what happens to that oil? So easily he could have gotten oil. I mean, and they have to pay for that service. So he could have been making money from the restaurants that have to get the oil removed from their places. So he was thinking very small, and he wasn't thinking about what if somebody fucking catches me.
I think he was like, oh, well, if they catch me, I got y'all money, bitch. You see that phantom? But what they were saying was the amount of money or the amount of RINs that he was offering up, he should have been bringing in truckloads of oil, probably like you saw outside of Tom's, truckloads of oil on the regular.
Exactly. And he would have had to have been making the product to distribute. So that's what I'm saying. It's so ridiculous. But the process of refining that oil it's a process, and that's actually a dirty process. It's not a clean process at all. So I don't know how well that goes over, considering, I'm producing green fuel, but I'm using dirty methods to do it.
Yeah, because they say they have to add like different chemicals to it to get it to a certain point. Like, I really don't know the actual science behind it. Hey, listeners. Oh my God, I didn't address you guys. That is so rude. Listeners, hi guys. Thank you for being here with us. Let's do this. We love you guys. Okay. But I never really looked into how to produce it. Like, I feel like I thought about something like that in 2008, 13 years ago, and never looked back when I was like, okay, this seems like it's a bit difficult. Back to regular cars. But I don't really know the process. But you're right, Brandy. They say it's pretty labor intensive, and you can't do it in a small space. You need space. Yeah,
you need a whole gigantic, you need a plant.
You need a whole team.
Yeah, and it's just him hanging out at a desk typing on his stupid computer. Dumb computer. So they caught him eventually. He got caught behind his money, pretty much, whatever you want to call it. And he got hit with 12 and a half years for wire fraud, for money laundering, for violating the Clean Air Act. That's what it was, the Clean Air Act. And he should have obviously got unemployment fraud as well, because we obviously know that he had a job. Not a good one, but he got a job. And apparently it took the jury 6 days to deliberate.
Yeah, why did this trial take a week? There was so much evidence against him.
He said he was not guilty. He was like, no, not guilty. The glove don't fit, so you must acquit.
No. Guilty.
Guilty. I'm mad that he was getting unemployment. That's really funny to me.
And he was paying payments on, what was it? On a Bentley?
A vehicle with unemployment check.
Like, what the fuck?
I think there's so many different state and government run departments and programs that there is not enough manpower to verify certain things. But if it has to do with money, if it has to do with, somebody's getting money or they're getting state funds of some sort, they need to actually look into that, because like with the COVID thing, all these prisoners are getting unemployment checks, right? I think that's still happening. They're saying people from out of state are getting unemployment checks from California.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, yeah, if they're in prisons in other states, that's very possible.
I don't know, man. I'm putting this in the hands of the EPA because they dropped the ball. And he just continued to get rich.
Unfortunately, all of these government entities are fucking bureaucracies. And literally, you have to go up the chain of like 800 people just to get one thing done. It's stupid. It's inefficient. It's fucking antiquated. And they need to get their heads out of their asses and adopt some fucking modern systems where, you can get shit done close to immediately. Because it doesn't make any sense that I have to wait 3 months for a decision to move a cog or to, get a ball rolling. It's stupid.
I think that's why they don't start it, because they believe they said with the EPA and other things too, even with Britney, they're like, oh, we'll have to drag it out in court or it's going to be a legal thing. And it's like, and that's what the courts are there for. Get it started. Let's go. And like, what's the problem? Why are we so afraid to take it to that level? Why do we have to have like court ordered action? Why are we afraid of that? Do you know what I mean? Like if I need to investigate or if I need to get rid of this conservatorship, Mr. Spears, we're going to court. It's not a problem. Let's just do this. Let's get the process started. And I think people are so afraid to start the process because it is a long process. But as long as you, get it going and do what you need to do, it's going to happen eventually, right?
Anything that involves the government takes forever. Like Norman's, his disability case, it took him 3 years to get a date.
Oh my God.
It's ridiculous. So.
Oh, and here I was complaining about my stimulus check. I never got my first one. They said they sent it out, but I never got it.
They said they sent you a stimulus check, girl?
Yeah, you know how last year you could log in and then check your status? And then
I never did that.
I think they sent it to my old house because we moved, but I filled out a form to say, hey, I moved. Could you send me another check? I don't know. I never got one. I had to fill out 2 forms for my stimulus check, and I still never got it. But the government takes forever to do shit. Forever.
Regardless of how small. Even the DMV. The DMV is a bureaucracy, too. I mean, things move a little bit faster there. But still, it's so stupid how long things take. And honestly, they're all people that hate their fucking jobs. They don't want to be doing the jobs they're doing. They're pissed off because they missed their chance at being a movie star or being a fucking recording artist or, doing something. So they're pissed off and they hate their fucking jobs. So they make everybody else's lives miserable. Yes, I am talking to you, government officials. Fucking fight me. And
fight me.
They literally do the least amount of work and they have a guaranteed fucking paycheck. And they're basically grandfathered in, so they really can't be fucking fired. It's a whole thing. They're in these jobs that they fucking they're happy to be in. They collect a fucking paycheck. They're guaranteed fucking days off. And it sucks.
Sometimes they're in a good mood. Sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, though, Brandi. Honestly, if I was at the DMV working with a bunch of dum-dums that come in, they're like, okay,
I'd be cranky, too.
Exactly.
You have to deal with dumb people every day. I'd be cranky too.
That's why I quit. I don't work customer facing jobs because I know people are stupid. And so I don't work at a job where I have to interact with people, especially face to face, because if they're not stupid, they're rude. For every every nice customer you get one that's got a bug up his ass about something like, oh, my toast was burnt this morning, so now I'm pissed off. I'm gonna take it out on you. And then you've got another person that literally doesn't know his head from his ass, so you have to give them the same instructions 5 times. It's like, I don't want to deal with people like that, so I don't apply for jobs like that. And I'm not gonna sit in a job like that for 30 years.
You tell them, Brandi.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna tell you guys this one story right here. So I used to live in Bakersfield. When I left Bakersfield, I was working for a doctor's office, a cardiology office. It was a busy one. And I was doing a lot of work, doing this. And when I left, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to find a replacement for my job. So then I was like, hey, Brandi, do you want to work here? And so I trained her, and she gets in the office, and I think, you were there for a month, and you're like, fuck this place?
Well, the boss was not a cool person. She was kind of, yeah. And so I was just like, I'm telling you, if I see a potential issue with like getting along with somebody, or I will jump ship in a minute, and I just don't care.
Brandi's flight. She prefers flight over fight.
I'm just like, because do you want to fight with me? Like, I'm not trying to be, I'm not that person that's just going to sit here and take your shit. I'm not. So we can either, go our separate ways, or it can get nasty. And I don't want it to have to get nasty, because if it gets nasty, then I'm going to do some real nasty stuff, and then I'll probably go to jail.
Don't do anything nasty. I just thought it was a funny story. Like, the boss, don't get me wrong, she was a bitch. When I started, I was just like, oh, okay, you's a bitch. Okay. Right? And so you know how to deal with these people. Me, I can get along with almost anybody. And me and the boss eventually learned to, like each other.
Get along.
Yeah. And we're cool. But it took a while for that to happen. Brandi's like, fuck them. No.
Like, she gave me a letter talking about, well, you said this and that and this and that and this and that. And I was like, is there a reason that I have a letter instead of you like coming and like calling me into your office so we can have a discussion? You just write me a letter?
That's very passive aggressive.
So. Exactly.
I love passive aggressive people. One time I worked in an office in San Francisco. It was the smallest office I ever worked in. My boss is sitting right next to me. Bitch sent me an email. I was like, you're sitting right next to me. For real? You just want to get it in writing? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, the people you deal with in those situations, they're not worth your time. So why bother?
Okay.
That's why the government officials are not very happy sometimes. I'm saying there's a lot of government officials out there, and some of them might be listening, and we don't think everybody is all the same. But a large portion of you guys don't seem very happy. Maybe it's because we go in the office after like 3 o'clock and you're done with people. But
well, they're not even officials. They're working at a desk, but they've been there for 15 years. So of course they're not making millions of dollars, but they're making, a nice sum. Sure.
Ends meet, yeah.
And they don't like, the rules of customer service are you fucking greet the next customer with a smile. These people have fucking attitudes, and they act like you're interrupting them. This is your job. You're getting paid to do this. Why is it that you act like I'm bothering you? I'm pissed off that I need to be here doing this in person, doing something that I should be able to do online. But again, your goddamn organization is too stupid to get online so that people can do their fucking business more efficiently. So now I have to come here and stand in a line of 80 million people who also probably want to do their shit online, but they can't because they have to come stand in front of you. So don't be mad at me. Be mad at your boss, or be mad at, the person who is the president of the fucking, whatever bureaucracy it is, because they refuse to step into the 21st century and bring all the processes online. Like, seriously.
No. To go back to get some actual facts. So it was 2005 that the government established a renewable fuel program. So that's what it was. And it required oil refiners and importers to make renewable fuel or purchase credits from manufacturers. So that's what people were buying from old Rodney, credits, because he was claiming to be a manufacturer of...
So a RIN is a credit?
Yes. A renewable and I want to call it energy, renewable identification number, but it's just to create it. And I mean,
Yeah.
they said
They assign the numbers to like the gallon of biodiesel.
Yeah, they said each 1 gallon of biodiesel was worth 1.5 RIN.
Right.
So he was like, oh, yeah, I've got hundreds of thousands of, gallons of biodiesel. Where are you getting it from, my friend? Nowhere.
And you know what's the shittiest thing, other than, stealing money, was that he was stealing business from other biodiesel companies who were actually doing the work, who were legit businesses.
Yeah.
And like a lot of those small biodiesel companies, they didn't sell as many RINs. Some of them were like out of business, according to this one article I'm looking at. So it's just, it's shit all over.
A lot of people. And, I mean, do you think 12.5 years is sufficient for, about $10 million worth of fake RIN?
No.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that puts people out of jobs, and it fucks over people, that are relying on him to actually be doing his job. And so it's just a nasty situation.
It is. It really is. Well, at least he was rich for a little bit and bought a bunch of cars.
At least he was rich for a little bit.
I don't even think he was rich. By that, I mean, the second he got the money, he spent it.
Yeah, he didn't invest.
House.
He didn't actually use the money, toward anything good. He bought it for greedy. He spent it being greedy instead of he wasn't fucking donating to the American Cancer Society. You know what I mean? He was doing I'm buying a car. Oh, okay, cool.
I'm buying 26 cars. Good old American greed, right, guys?
Yep.
Man, when I saw this episode, I'm glad you picked this one, Chinlin, because I was like, I'm all about green energy. I'm all about alternative. And then when I see this guy's doing this, I was pissed. I was just like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, I was the
Fuck
same.
him.
Yeah, I was just like, we care about the environment, and this guy is just shitting all over it.
For real. All right. Well, he's still in jail. I wonder if he's going to do the entire 12.5. Because I believe he was sentenced in June 2012. So then more than likely we'll see him in 2024.
Yeah, well, hopefully he doesn't try to start another fucking biodiesel business.
Just Google everybody. I've just started Googling everybody. Anybody that I take a meeting from now on, honestly, because I use LinkedIn a lot, I Google them. So I Googled this one cat, right? And I was like, I put his name in and I put fraud in because, it's interesting. So I took a meeting from him, but I found an article that he was involved in some bullshit it was something, but it's like, haha, I know this about you now. So let's see what you tell me. And he wasn't very pushy at all. So I was like, yeah, you better not try and sell me some stuff. He tried to sell me a program of mailing letters to leads. And I was like, you're just giving me a template for $100? No. I don't think that's going to work for us.
A template.
A direct mail template. He's like, oh yeah, you sent, and he made it sound like his company was going to be sending off all these letters and these fancy things to executives that would open it up and be like, oh, thank you for sending me some mail. No one ever does that anymore. And been there, done that. I understand that, but been there, done that. And I was like, oh, okay, so you guys are going to do this and this. And then he was like, oh, no, I'll just give you the program. And I was like, so is it a template? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, you're not mailing this stuff out for me or doing anything. You're trying to sell me $100 template. Fuck off. No. Not today, Satan. Not today.
But at least he was going to give you something in return for that $100. It wasn't just, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and then you never got anything. You know what I mean? So at least
we didn't go nowhere. He sent me a bunch of messages on LinkedIn, and they were very template because he sent the wrong person's name to me. I love when that happens. I'm like, you're not paying attention. You're just pasting.
I've done that.
You don't care who you're sending this to. I paste too, but I make sure I reread it before I send it. Anyway, I know. So that was a great episode, Chinlin. Let me get Chinlin. Chinlin, do you have a thumbs up for the week?
My thumbs up for the week I got my raise at work.
Yay!
Congratulations!
Oh, thank you.
That's fabulous. I am taking that as evidence of money coming to me.
Good job, Chinlin. So are you like in a whole different department or a pay raise or your new boss? Like, tell me more.
Oh, I don't have a title or anything. It's just a pay raise. And I'm still at my same department, but I don't know. It's just something nice.
It's more money.
You know, like
more money's nice. Yeah.
The pandemic screwed over a lot of businesses last year, so I'm grateful that I still have a job. I'm grateful my company is still making some money, even though we lost a little bit of business last year. Like, you know, we're still getting some money, so it's all good. As long as I can pay the bills.
Right? You got to feed your cat. Oh, tell me about your cat. He's so cute.
Oh, it's a girl.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, don't worry. She is a tabby cat. She's about 2.5 years old. She'll be 3 in May. Her name is Matcha, like a matcha green green tea. Yeah. Cause I don't know, I'm obsessed with food names. So all of my pets are going to have food names. My first pet ever was a hamster. Her name was Cappuccino.
That's
and
cute.
Then, yeah, my current hamster, she's my second one. Her name is Brie, like the cheese.
Cheese.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're fancy.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. Brie is short for Brienne of Tarth because the character from Game of Thrones is Brienne of Tarth. But it's a pun, Brienne.
Brienne, yeah. You're an interesting one, definitely, Chinlin.
She's a geeky gal. She's a geeky gal.
I don't want to just give normal names for my pets. I want my future kids to have unique, memorable names.
Oh my gosh! When you name your first daughter Caviar, I will definitely be happy to hear it.
No.
Caviar. That's
Caviar.
the name. I'm gonna name the next pet I get. I'm gonna get that's it. I'm gonna get a fish. I'm gonna get a beta because I've been planning to get a beta. I just haven't done it yet. I'm gonna get a beta. I'm gonna name him Caviar. Yes.
Oh,
so now you
nice.
can't have it anymore. Chinlin. It's mine.
Because like when he sorry, you missed your chance. It was a very short window of opportunity to get that name. Sorry, it's mine. How about you, Brandi? You got a thumbs up for the week?
Oh, God. My thumbs up. Okay, so I've been trying to get this fucking Kanban board done, or Kanban board done for like 2 weeks. So I'm planning on getting it done. Hopefully I'll have every single post-it that I need to get that's on my projects list on that board so that I can actually start working toward my goals instead of just thinking about them. And then I'll become a millionaire in the next 2 years.
Okay, like put it into the universe, girl. Put it out there.
It's happening.
It's happening. It's happening.
What's your thumbs up?
I ordered a bottle cutting kit so I could cut my wine bottles. So I have like soaked off the labels of like 16 wine bottles all from my garage. I don't have a drinking problem
right now.
I'll come and get some more of yours. But I'm really having fun with that. I kind of moving forward with the class reunion stuff. So planning's going really well. I've got a lot of biscuits to make this week. So I'm just really busy. I'm just trying to kind of stay proactive and kind of keep on it. And like I like to say, keep planting more seeds. I planted some seeds outside. You know, talking to people is a seed. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many different ways to plant seeds. And eventually they will come to fruition. And I've got a lot of seeds out there that are germinating, and I can't wait. Seeds grow. You just gotta give them a little water and some time, and they will grow.
And some sunlight. Give them love.
Give them love. I give them lots of love. So, I mean, other than that, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Oh, my husband sent me on a fun scavenger hunt yesterday for my Valentine's Day gift.
That's what I was going to ask you when I called you earlier. Did you find it?
Cute.
Yeah, I found it. So it was cute. So last night after my nephew's birthday, I was like tired and my husband seemed like he wanted something. I was like, what do you want? And he's like, oh, go look over there. And then it was a clue. It was like a 7-clue scavenger hunt. I ended up going to my mom's house. I ended up coming back. And then I found my gift and I was like, you're so sweet. And it was so fun. And I was just like, okay, I love you. I love you. Like, you make me smile. You make me laugh. And you know what I like. And he got me this blanket. It's like this plush blanket. And it has like a bunch of our pictures on it. Like our engagement picture, wedding picture, Christmas
cute.
pictures. So it was really nice. And he's very thoughtful. And I'm a very lucky woman.
You have to use that every time you're watching movies on the couch.
I kind of don't want to because the kids are like, ooh, we want this. Can we have it? And I was like, you better back away from my blanket.
We want this. Can we have it?
Do you want to fight?
Okay, well, every time you watch movies in bed, then you have to use it.
I know. If you check out my Instagram story from today, I was in bed snuggling with my blank. So
that is such a thoughtful gift.
Yeah, he's really good at gift giving. He's really good at it, and I had no idea. So that's why when we were like, "Where's Jamal? How come he's not here yet for Giovanni's birthday?" He was hiding clues at the house and in Mom's garage.
So where was the blanket? Where did it end up being?
It was on my desk in a box under my junk. I would have never found. Honestly, it was just I do so much stuff and I just put boxes and crap all over the place. So he had it like under one of my Rodan and Fields boxes. It was a box, and it was like, look for a box with my name on it. I'm looking. And I had to like stand on the couch and like look down to see. And I was like, oh, this is it. And he wanted to see me open it because he didn't wrap it. He just left it in the box that it came in. So I'll post a picture because it's super cute. So yeah. Yay! Nice Valentine's gifts. Yay!
Even though it's not today or yesterday, but
so what? When you guys are listening to this episode, it will be after Valentine's Day. I hope you guys had a nice one and a happy Galentine's Day.
Oh, today also was the second time that the carrot in chief did not get impeached. Just so we know.
He was acquitted, right?
Yes.
What the hell?
He was.
I've been avoiding Twitter news.
Oh, you guys thought this episode was over? Oh no, bonus content. The fool got acquitted. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, he was.
I thought I was misreading
in the Senate. I mean, he was impeached in the House, but yeah, the Senate acquitted him because they're a bunch of fucking pussies. You know what? I really wonder what kind of dirt he has on them because he's
got a bunch of dirt on a bunch of people. I'm sure. I'm sure of it.
Only reason not to fucking just like find his fucking ass guilty. But you know what?
Would he go to jail? But
No,
what was
he wouldn't go to
facing?
Jail.
He
would never be allowed to run for president ever again because, you know, he had said that he planned to run in 2024. But the country knows better now. At least the faith that I have in my country is that they know better now. If he is elected to be the fucking Republican candidate for 2024, I will literally leave this country. I'm leaving.
We're going to the Bahamas. Come on, girl. Let's go.
Listen, I'm going.
Chinlin, you can come too. You can come too, Chinlin, if you want.
Okay, we have an in, so we might as well take advantage. But wait, no, because the Bahamas their government's not the best either.
Well, I'm just saying, pick your poison, honey. You want to go? Or you want to stay? Like, what is it? Come on.
You could go to Canada. They have universal health care.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, Anthony will let us in up to Canada. Anthony, after midnight.
Right now, the Canadians are like, please don't come here.
Yeah, they're like,
stay your ass away.
What's that on the boot? Get out of here. Gee golly.
I don't blame them. Like, you stupid Americans aren't following the rules. Y'all can stay your asses over there and catch your COVID by yourselves.
All right, guys, that was a bunch of fun. So thank you guys for listening so much. We're so happy that we had a guest here today.
Thank you again for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Chinlin.
Tell everybody where they can find you again.
I am on Twitter. The podcast is the Bingleables Podcast. Twitter handle is at Bingleables Pod. And my personal Twitter is just my name, at Chinlin Pan.
Twitter.
Awesome.
Are you only on Twitter? You're not on Insta?
Well, I have my personal Instagram, but I never made one for the podcast because, let's face it, I can't handle that many social media accounts.
I understand.
It's a lot.
It's too much. it's too much work. Like, you gotta update your Facebook, you gotta update your Instagram, your Twitter, like, and that's just 3 of the main ones. Like, what other accounts do podcasts handle? Like, how do you have time to do all of this content stuff?
Listen, girl, I gave Brandy the keys to our podcast on Instagram. I was like, I cannot do this. Like, it's too much for me. Like, it's exhausting. But I hear you. So, Twitter at Bingleables Pod or Chinlin Pan, or if you want to find her on Instagram, you have to find her personal account.
Oh, it's just the same handle, at Chinlin Pan.
Simple as that. Simple as that. And if you want to connect with us on social, you can meet us on Twitter at Book of Lies Pod, on Instagram and Facebook at Book of Lies Podcast, or our website, bookofliespodcast.com. There you could find our Patreon, listen to our previous episodes. I don't know what else we have on there. I think we have some swag. Oh, our blog. Maybe Brandy's going to leave us a blog post this week.
I don't know. I've been really, like slacking on the blog. I think the last blog, you probably know what the last blog I put up was, because I don't even know. So, it's been a minute since a blog post has gone up.
There is a blog there, and there's
one there. It exists.
There's one there.
It exists.
It exists. All right. Well, again, I am Sunni Hepburn.
And I'm Brandy Fliggs.
And we have
Chinlin.
And this was
Book of
Lies. The podcast.
It's bold, bitches.